On average, students in online learning conditions perform better than those receiving face-to-face instruction. Okay? Now, this can be a little bit shocking, especially depending on what your perception is, what experience you've had with online learning. But they're saying, and when we look at all the data, this is what the Department of Energy, another DOE, Department of Education is saying, is that when we look at all the data, all the research, online learning is better, okay? They perform better. Now, at this point we have to say, hey, look at the world, okay? Things are going online, and the initial research is saying online is better. We need to, as Academy, say, hey, okay, so what's going on here? What do we need to learn from this? And so that's what we want to take a look at today. In order to do that, first I want to talk about the difference between online content versus an online learning environment. Okay, online content is just that. You're taking the stuff of the class and putting it online, so as Sean talks about, 24/7 access for students. That students have 24/7 access to it. So that's online content. And I have an example here. I should mention first a little bit about the open courseware movement. There is a movement among some universities, colleges and universities, towards open courseware. Now, all of you here probably have students, right, that will graduate from Academy and go on to institutions, and those institutions philosophically will vary. Some institutions will be over here, and they record every lecture, they have all their stuff, they put it all online, and then they kind of put it behind, you know, a username password, so no one can see it. Unless, of course, you know, a child matriculates there, then they, you know, for whatever it is, 40 grand a year, give them the username password so they have access to all the online stuff. That's at one extreme. At the other extreme in the world is the university and colleges that are over here. They're recording their lectures, they have all their stuff, they put it all online, and they just say, here it is, world. Here it is, all of it, all of it. And for example, MIT is a part of the open courseware movement. They are taking all of their online, all of their stuff that goes on in their classes and putting it online. So even if you know, someone doesn't get accepted to MIT or someone's in a foreign country, anybody the world over, if they have an internet connection, can take an MIT course. Now they don't get a transcript for it, you know, and they can't say I graduated from MIT, they can say I took all the classes. But that's a part of the open courseware movement. So I'm, of course, interested in calculus of single variable. I'm an AP Calc teacher, and so I'm supposed to be teaching a class that looks like calculus on the university level. How do I know what that looks like? Well, it's pretty easy. I can go to MIT's website and see what they're doing. So, for example, MIT's calculus class, they post their calendar online, so I can look at their calendar and see what they're doing. So we post our calendar online, so kids can go here and see what we're doing. MIT, they post what we call guided lecture notes online, so students can have that as a reference. We post guided lecture notes online as well, through our Moodle page. MIT posts, here it's a sample exam, you get ready for a test, maybe a student wants to see a sample exam, they just go to the website, anybody around the world can go and see what's MIT giving for their sample exam. We have the same thing, we put our sample exams. MIT goes further, they actually write up solutions for their exams and put it on there so students can check their work. Interesting that they write it out and scan it to a PDF. That is the best way to do that, and that's actually how we do it as well. We write it out, scan it to a PDF, and put our solutions online. And then MIT records lectures. So here is the MIT guy doing his thing. Maybe.
So remember, point P is the point x0, f of x0.
Okay, well, that's enough again. We didn't come to see him, so. So they record their lectures and they put it online. And likewise, we record our lectures and put them online. So I'm actually going to start this here. This is Dan Alexio in the calculus classroom. I'm going to mute him though, so I can talk as you see him working. So what he's doing here is, of course, he has a projector and a smart board. So he's in front of the class working on the smart board rather than tucked off behind his laptop. And because we have screen capture software, we get a perfect glimpse of what's on the smart board. Even though like this is kind of dark and lighting's an issue, but that's okay, you just need to see him wave his arms. He went through and he did an algebraic solution and found that there's a horizontal tangent at pi pi. But we know in math we need multiple representations. So we switch over to his calculator software. He's at the front of the room. You can see what buttons he's pushing because they turn red. He graphs the function here. They've seen the algebraic solution. Let's make sure they also understand that in another way, graphically. And so he comes in here, he's like, remember, this was at pi. And so he'll mark off here, here's 3.14, here's 3.14, and sure enough, at the point pi, there is a horizontal tangent. Okay, that's all the calculus we're going to do today, but it gives you a feel, and this is being captured. I mean, what happens if a student, let's face it, okay, life is complicated. You know life is complicated because you have children, and you know that their lives are complicated. There are doctor's appointments, dental appointments, there's sporting events, there's sporting injuries, you know, there's all sorts of stuff going on. College visits away, you know, college counselors coming here, and students want to go visit with them. Oh, the junior speech, I need extra time with, you know, Mr. Kirk. I mean, I have students missing class every day for very good reasons, because life is complicated, all right? Well, this makes life easier for them, because if they miss class, they can go back and they can see what happened, rather than calling their friend and getting the 2-minute synopsis, which may or may not be accurate. Okay? So, all right, and of course, we have all this stuff, but you need a way to organize it, and you organize it through what's known as a course actually the new phrase, a learning management system. And so here is, we use Moodle, and this is for some unit D, and you see all the stuff there, so students can just go there in one spot and get the resources that they need. So this is online content. Okay, online content, taking the content of the class and putting it online. There are huge benefits to online content. And in fact, time-wise, I think I'm going to skip this video, but we have students here saying, it's great, it's wonderful. So that's what they say. It's better to hear from them, but I'm going to try to be respectful of the time here. So that's online content. Now, what does an online learning environment look like? A learning environment is different than online content. Because when we're in the classroom, we have more than just content. We create, you know, an atmosphere of learning, an environment for learning. So an online learning environment is, you say, in addition to having the content online, there's an online community, or some people call it an online learning community, a group of people who are learning together online that allows for communication, cooperation, collaboration, right? Because this is some of the stuff that we do in the classroom. It's not students, you know, they would be very disappointed if they came to class and say, okay, you know, I recorded this class last year, and so you just watch it from last year, and I'm going to catch a cup of coffee. I'll be back in 45 minutes. You know, that's not really going to get it done. Now, it's great if they miss class. Say, oh, I missed this one class. I need to go and do it this way. That's better than getting the notes from a student. But really, there's so many things that go on in class that involve communication, cooperation, collaboration, all that stuff that has to do with interacting with other people. How does that happen online? What happens in an online learning environment? So before we talk about this, we need to talk about the difference between synchronous and asynchronous communication. This right now is synchronous communication. In real time, I'm talking to you and you're listening. Or actually, you look like you're listening. I don't want to assume too much. So that's synchronous. You call someone on the phone. That's synchronous communication, right? As opposed to asynchronous communication, you send somebody an email, and anywhere from 1 second to 24 hours later, you get an email back. That's asynchronous communication. So when we go online, we have an option of whether or not we want to do things in a synchronous or an asynchronous fashion, and sometimes one is better and sometimes another is better.